Hello viewers, today we're going to be replacing the capacitor in this Lakewood 1200DX VN. The capacitor drifted about halfway, so it was running pretty slow. Oh, that's only half the problem. There is a bearing issue with this VN as well. At some point I'm going to have to open the motor up and clean and relubricate the bearings, which is going to be somewhat of a production because the motor is riveted together, which is outrageous. Outrageous. Anyways, something just flew off. I think it was the speed knob, and I'm not sure where it went. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Here it is. Not very far. Alright, there's the knob. So this should be pretty simple. Capacitor is going to go in between here. There's the capacitor. Well, it may not be actually that simple because it's not going to fit correctly in here because the original capacitor was much smaller. So we're going to have to finagle this to mount in a certain way. What's the problem here? We're going to have to figure out how and where to mount this, because it's not going to fit in the original slot. Not at all. This capacitor is probably twice the size as the original one. Yeah, that's not really correct. Oh, for heaven's sakes. You know, I bought some new wire nuts, and they're junk because the metal thing in the middle keeps coming out. And I'm getting tired of all this Chinese garbage. None of these products work right. Some things it's hard to find vintage, like wire nuts. I mean, not a whole lot of vintage wire nuts just floating around everywhere. And so you just go to the store and buy some. And then you got to deal with this garbage quality. I'm tired of it. It ain't right. It's made in China stuff. It's got to go. Okay, so that'll make the thing run again. Now we got to figure out the mounting scenario. I mean, we could just put it like that, I guess. You know what? That may be all right. That may be all right. May block a little bit of airflow, and that's not all right. But let's see if it fits on okay. Yeah. I think that'll be alright. If it's blocking the airflow, it's not blocking much. These fans, I have mixed feelings about them. I like them because I like almost anything Lakewood. But these were kind of an embarrassment to Lakewood. These are the first, like, really disposable fans that we saw. They just weren't made very well. Alright, so now with the new capacitor in there, let's power it back up and see how it runs. It should run fine. Well, it may not run fine because of the bearings, but the motor itself should be operating normally. Okay, so this is supposed to draw, how many amps is it supposed to draw? 0.9. It's a lot of power. Amps. And let's see what we got here. Taking 0.4. Is that, what speed is that supposed to be? That's supposed to be high. So now we're just dealing with the bearing issue here. The bearings are just stiff. Although it should be drawing more than 0.39 if it's rated for 0.9. Slowly gaining speed here. I'll let it sit for a minute and see what happens. Came down to 0.35 on the meter, which is a pretty standard rating for a 12-inch oscillator. Definitely calls for 0.9 on there, which seems kind of high to me. It's not doing a whole lot. I mean, it's moving faster than it was, and it's still not going. I don't think it's going as fast as it should be. You know, but the bearings are locked up. I mean, look how quick the thing stops. And the bearings are real stiff, so we're going to have to take it apart and clean the bearings out and re-lubricate them. That's going to be for another day. That's going to be a production because they're riveted. The motor's riveted together, so I'm going to have to drill the rivets out and then find a set of nut and bolts that'll fit through there to keep it together afterwards.